The restaurant fell silent the moment my sister-in-law raised her glass and shouted to the entire room, 265,000. Come on, brother, show everyone how much you love me. Her grin was hungry for attention. My husband froze, then puffed up proudly as if this was his moment to shine. That is when my heart began thudding because I knew exactly what was about to happen. Hi everyone, my name is Laya. I have been married to Ethan for 7 years. 7 years of keeping the peace, swallowing insults from his family, and pretending I did not notice how his sister Marissa treated me like a wallet with legs. I had been quiet, too quiet, and tonight they were about to learn why. Ethan confidently reached for my clutch, the one I had carried all evening. Marissa leaned forward, smirking like she had orchestrated the world's greatest live performance. Open it, she squealed. Let us see how much he really loves me. He pulled out the card, not knowing I had switched it hours earlier. He did not know what message was now tied to his so-called grand gesture. He did not know the entire restaurant was seconds away from watching our perfect marriage fracture like glass. Ethan slid the card into the machine. The screen blinked, and then it started. The machine beeped sharply, loud enough that nearby tables turned. Ethan frowned, withdrawing the card and trying again, jabbing the buttons harder this time, as if force could change fate. Marissa let out a theatrical sigh. Oh, come on, Ethan. Don't embarrass yourself. Just pay. It is only 265,000. Only. That word had been her weapon for years. Let me take you back for a moment. From the day I married Ethan, his sister decided my income was part of her inheritance. New handbags? Laya will cover it. Birthday trips? Laya has miles. Business losses? Laya can fix it. And Ethan, he always said she is my sister, babe. It is temporary. Except temporary had lasted 7 years. I supported them through debt, drama, and disasters while they repaid me with entitlement and thinly disguised disgust. Tonight, they thought I was here to fund another one of Marissa's look how loved I am. Spectacles. But this time, I had decided I would not be their bank. I would be their wake-up call. The card machine flashed again, this time with a louder, angrier beep. The word declined, stared back from the small screen in bright, unforgiving letters. A collective gasp rippled through the dining hall. Ethan's face drained of all color, turning a sickly shade of gray. Marissa's triumphant smirk twitched, then vanished. Try again, she hissed, her voice cutting through the silence of the restaurant. She keeps plenty of money in there. Use the other one. Ethan turned toward me slowly, his eyes searching mine for an explanation he couldn't find. Laya, what is going on? He asked, his voice sharpening with an edge of command. Give me the other card. The black one. I didn't move. I simply folded my hands in my lap and met his gaze. The restaurant lights felt hotter as more heads turned in our direction. Marissa, never one to suffer in silence, crossed her arms and spoke loud enough for half the room to hear. I told you she was getting stingy. Ever since she married you, she thinks she is above us. She probably blocked the transaction because she hates when you spend money on me. I didn't flinch. For the first time in 7 years, I wasn't afraid of the fallout or the family meetings that would surely follow. Marissa, I said softly, my voice carrying a weight it never had before. I didn't block it. The room quieted further. Even the clinking of silverware at the distant tables seemed to stop. Ethan swallowed hard, the panic finally starting to leak into his expression. Then why is it declining? I had waited for this exact moment. I had endured their arrogance, their bottomless entitlement, and their absolute expectation that I would always be the one to fix their mistakes. I lifted my glass, took a slow sip of water, and spoke with devastating clarity. Because that card is no longer active. A murmur swept across the tables. Ethan blinked in confusion. What? Marissa scoffed, her face flushing a violent red. What do you mean it is not active? Where is the real card? I let out a slow, steady breath. Ask your husband. That was the moment Ethan's face completely collapsed. His throat bobbed as every pair of eyes in that gold-lit restaurant shifted onto him. Ethan! Marissa's voice sharpened to a blade. Why is she saying that? Where is the real card? Don't tell me you forgot it. He didn't answer. He couldn't. He knew exactly what I meant. I leaned back in my chair, the linen of the tablecloth crisp beneath my palms. You want to tell her, Ethan? Or should I? Ethan's lips parted, but no sound came out. I had never seen him this pale, so I continued, my voice calm, measured, and devastatingly clear. The real card was closed 3 days ago by me, because the account it was linked to. I paused, letting the silence expand, letting the truth grow sharp enough to cut the entire table. It was not ours anymore. It was mine, legally, fully, and permanently. A collective gasp echoed through the room. Marissa's chair screeched against the floor as she stood up. What are you talking about? Ethan, say something. He looked like a man drowning with no shore left in sight. I held Marissa's stare. Your brother emptied that account last month. Quietly, without telling me. It was his genius plan to loan the money to you so you could expand your boutique. I tilted my head. Except he did not know I saw the transfer. Marissa's face flushed a violent red. You are lying. I smiled a small, tired, terrifying smile. No, sweetheart. I am just getting started. And that was the exact second the restaurant manager approached our table. He stopped beside us, hands clasped politely, but his eyes flicked between our faces, sensing the implosion already underway. Is everything all right here? He asked. Ethan shot up from his chair, his voice cracking. There is an issue with the payment. Just give us a minute. But the manager shook his head apologetically. I am afraid we need a working card now. It is a full house night, and we cannot leave a bill this large unsettled. A murmur of judgment rolled across the nearby tables. Marissa's face twisted in rage. Just use your wife's money. She always pays. She owes us after everything we have done for her. I felt something inside me settle, a strange, cold peace, because this public unraveling was not planned, but it was perfect. I rose slowly, smoothing my dress. Manager, could you give us a moment? I will handle the bill. His relief was visible. He stepped back. Ethan exhaled, his shoulders dropping in a way that made him look small. Thank God. Just pay it, and we will talk in the car. Marissa smirked triumphantly, as if order had returned to her kingdom. But they did not know that the calm on my face was not surrender. It was strategy. Because 3 days ago, when I closed the joint account, I also opened a new one, my own. Untouchable, hidden, and more importantly, funded in a way neither of them knew was possible. I pulled out my phone and began typing. Ethan frowned. What are you doing? Marissa scoffed. Calling your bank to fix the card you ruined? I lifted my gaze, my voice soft but lethal. No. I am calling the person who is about to make both of you regret ever underestimating me. The phone rang once, twice, and then someone picked up. Laya? A calm, authoritative voice answered on the other end. The moment I heard it, Ethan stiffened. He recognized it too. Hi, Daniel, I said. I need the confirmation sent now. Ethan's eyes widened. Wait. Daniel Hayes? As in your company's CFO? Marissa blinked, her confusion momentarily overriding her anger. Why would the CFO of her company be involved in a dinner bill? But Daniel had already replied, his voice echoing loudly enough for the table to hear. It is done. The transfer is officially complete. You now have sole ownership of the investment portfolio. Congratulations, Laya. Marissa froze. Ethan staggered back into his chair as if he had been struck. The restaurant around us seemed to tilt. I ended the call gently. Ethan's lips trembled. Laya, what did you do? I leaned forward, my elbows resting lightly on the white linen. Remember when you said I was not responsible enough to monitor our finances? That your sister needed it more? That draining our account for her boutique was a family duty? He swallowed hard. Well, I continued, while you two were busy plotting, Daniel and the board were busy approving something else. My full acquisition of the company shares your father left you. Ethan's breath hitched. My father's shares? Yes, I said softly. The ones you illegally used as collateral without my consent. The ones you forfeited when you took that secret loan from Marissa. Marissa grabbed his arm, her nails digging into his suit. Ethan, tell her she cannot do that. Tell her. But his face said it all. He knew I wasn't just paying a bill tonight. I was taking my life back. The manager approached again, cautiously. Ma'am, the payment. I smiled. Of course. Charge it to the new account. The manager returned with the card terminal, and for the first time that evening, I felt completely weightless. I tapped my phone, and a soft chime signaled the approval. The sound echoed like a verdict. A few tables actually applauded, not for me, but for the drama they had been feasting on. But Marissa, she looked gutted. You ruined us, she hissed across the table. Do you know what the boutique loan depended on? Do you know what investors will do when they find out? Oh, they already know, I cut in gently. Daniel sent the report to all partners 10 minutes ago. Her face drained of color. Ethan wasn't angry anymore. He was terrified. "Laya," he whispered, "please, we can fix this. I only did it because I trusted Marissa's plan. She said the boutique expansion would double our money. You know how she gets excited. Don't blame me." Marissa snapped her head toward Ethan, her eyes flashing with betrayal. "You used your father's shares," she yelled, forgetting where she was. "You told me Laya didn't need to know. You said she was too distracted with work to ever check the ledger." A heavy silence thundered between them. For years, I had been the outsider, the wallet, the obedient wife. No, tonight, they looked at me like I was someone they had never met, someone they should have feared long ago. I stood up, picking up my clutch and smoothing my hair. Ethan rose quickly, his chair nearly toppling over. "Laya?" "Wait. We can go home and talk about this. We can work it out." I stepped back, creating a distance that felt miles wide. "We do not have a home anymore, Ethan." He froze, his hand suspended in midair. "What do you mean?" "Tomorrow," I said calmly, "you will receive the separation documents and a formal notice to vacate." Marissa stumbled forward, her voice cracking. "Vacate what?" I met her eyes with a cold, steady gaze. "The house?" "Marissa, the one you have been using as your personal storage unit and guest house for a year. I own the title now." Her mouth fell open, but no words came out. Just then, the restaurant doors swung open. A woman in a sharp charcoal suit stepped into the room, followed by 2 assistants carrying thick folders. Her presence alone silenced the remaining chatter in the restaurant. Marissa's face blanched. Ethan's shoulders collapsed. The woman approached me with a warm, professional nod. "Mrs. Hale, the documents you requested have been executed. I came personally to deliver them." She handed me a sleek envelope stamped with a gold seal. Ethan stared at it like it was a ticking bomb. "What? What documents are those?" I opened the envelope slowly, deliberately, and slid out the papers. "The foreclosure notice," I said, "for the boutique property." Marissa gasped so loudly the nearby tables flinched. "You cannot do that. That is my business, my dream." "No," I corrected softly. "It was a business funded with stolen collateral. When Ethan unlawfully used those shares, everything tied to that loan became legally reversible, and since I now own those shares, I decided to pull the plug." Her knees buckled, and she had to grab the edge of the table to stay upright. Ethan reached for Marissa, but his eyes never left me. They were full of regret, fear, and a dawning understanding that came far too late. I stepped closer, my voice low and steady, ensuring every word hit its mark. "I begged you both for years to treat me like family. I gave you my time, my energy, and my support. Instead, you treated me like currency. You thought my kindness was a weakness you could exploit forever." I placed the envelope into Ethan's shaking hands. "This is the last time you will ever spend something that belongs to me. This bill, this dinner, this life. It is all settled now." I looked at the table, at the remnants of their expensive celebration, and felt a profound sense of relief. The weight of 7 years of silence and sacrifice had finally lifted. Then I turned away. The entire restaurant seemed to part like a tide as I walked toward the exit. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even triumphant. I was simply free. Behind me, I could hear Marissa beginning to wail, and Ethan trying to explain himself to the manager, who was now signaling for security to escort them out. Their drama was no longer my responsibility. Outside, the cool night air wrapped around me, quiet and clean. The city lights stretched out before me, bright with possibilities I had forgotten existed. For the first time in 7 years, I didn't have to check my phone for panicked texts from Marissa or excuses from Ethan. I didn't have to wonder whose debt I would be paying tomorrow. I walked toward my car, the sound of my heels on the pavement sharp and confident. My life finally felt like it belonged to me again. The investment I made in myself was the only one that truly mattered, and the returns were going to be spectacular.